Welcome back to another episode of Stacking Dennys. I'm Jordan McAbee of Rotoballer, my co-host Nick Giffen of the Action Network. Tyler Reddick in victory lane. First pole sitter to win a race in the last, I think, like 52 races. And an epic, I'm going to use that word, epic last lap pass on Ryan Blaney. For a second there, it looked like it was going to be Denny Hamlin getting the win. Then it was going to be Ryan Blaney, and then Reddick comes out of nowhere on, I think, 5-lap older tires. Blows by both Hamlin and Blaney on the final lap at Homestead Miami Speedway. For a while there, it looked like Chase Elliott was going to get the win. Christopher Bell was up there challenging. But Tyler Reddick in victory lane locks his position into Phoenix for the championship race and now leaves 6 drivers scrambling at Martinsville to get their way in now that we have Joey Logano locked into Phoenix and now Tyler Reddick. Christopher Bell's looking good on points. However, nothing's guaranteed in this world. And then we have a bunch of guys that have been very good at Martinsville here recently that will be contending to try to get their to try to be the 4th driver in there, assuming Christopher Bell doesn't have any issues at Martinsville. But overall, I think we're all in agreement that this last race at Homestead was amazing. It was a perfect race. There was different tire strategies. There was fuel strategies that played out. Reddick stayed out long and got a caution, and that's why he was able to restart near the front toward those final restarts. Homestead, just an awesome racetrack, and once again, the intermediate package delivers in this next-gen car. Unfortunately, and everybody's going to be, with it being Homestead and with that typically being the championship race up until they moved it over to Phoenix, that's going to be the main concern here. But the fact of the matter is we got an amazing race. We're set up for another amazing race and, exciting potential here at Martinsville before we head to Phoenix. But Nick, I'm sure you're on our side. 93% in Jeff Gluck's poll said that this was a good race. Number 3 for the year. Didn't even make number 1. Number 3 for the year. But I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean,
yeah.
It also it makes sense that it's number 3. Like Atlanta was bonkers, Kansas was bonkers, and this was almost just as good as this, right? So it makes sense. Like you're gonna be hard pressed to top both Atlanta and Kansas, first Atlanta and first Kansas. Yeah, I mean this race was fantastic. It had everything, including just a crazy finish. Tyler Reddick passed 2 cars in the last lap, right? I mean he went low, got Denny. And then went high, got Ryan Blaney, passing throughout the day, drama, all of it, right? It was all there. We saw,
Kyle Larson wreck himself.
Yeah, exactly. We saw all sorts of different things. So it was a great race. And crazy enough, with all that went on, there was only one DNF, and it was JJ Yaley. Yeah, I mean, just a fantastic race all around. I don't have much more to add. I think we all know it was absolutely incredible race. The only other thing I'll add, which is what everybody else is adding, is damn it, this needs to be the championship race, right? Like,
Yeah,
come on.
And I probably watched that last replay of the last lap or the last few laps. I mean, at least a dozen times. And my initial reaction was, why the fuck did Blaney not block the high lane? Because that was like Reddick, obviously that's how he won. You're giving Reddick his preferred lane, you're given the fastest lane. And I understand why people are asking that. But from Blaney's point of view, I honestly don't fault him there, because I think in his head they did what was the smartest move, and it just didn't work because Reddick was just that much faster. Because that was Blaney's line. Blaney does not ride the rim. He does not go up into the top lane, and his fastest line that entire race was right where he was at. And it just so happened that Reddick was able to get past him. Say what you want about Denny Hamlin, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to use the word choke, but he definitely, he was in the catbird seat on that final restart and ended up 3rd. So interesting turn of events there at the end, made for an amazing finish. And I really wonder how much Ryan Blaney is going to be kicking himself, if he doesn't make it to Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened on that last set of turns for Blaney. I mean, Was his car just not that good? I mean, he was so good all day. He definitely had a better long run car, but I mean, we were starting to get on lap 7, 8 of that, that last run there. I think it was maybe 5 or 6 laps, maybe not 7 or 8. And something just happened on that last lap where he was just slow in 3 and 4. I don't understand it.
It was weird, and his spotter even told him to get hot. Like if you listen back, he's like basically you need to block the top lane. And he just didn't, and then you could just hear how dejected Blaney was there coming to the start finish line because he knew. I mean, that's probably his championship hopes. I mean, he's gonna need to win. I just don't know if he
got off the gas too much and took it too conservative, or if he let the fact that Reddick was behind him distract him enough to not carry enough speed, because he definitely could have carried more speed. He wasn't even close to being out of control in those last couple of turns. So maybe he was mirror driving a little too hard and worried too much about Reddick that he just didn't get back in the throttle in the right points, or got out of the gas too early or something. But something clearly happened that last set of corners, and we like to talk about drivers that aren't clutch occasionally on here. That was definitely an anti-clutch moment for Ryan Blaney.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I think that's going to end up defining his championship defense. But
quite possibly, yeah. I mean, obviously he's great at Martinsville. You never know what'll happen here, but he has to win to get in now.
I'll tell you what, I'm very excited for Martinsville this weekend, and I didn't, after the first race this year and what we've seen with this next gen car, I've never really said that I'm excited for Martinsville, but I'm really excited for Martinsville because I think any of these guys that aren't locked in could win this race. We've seen them all win at Martinsville recently. So, this is gonna come down to the wire for sure. It's going to be a good race this upcoming weekend, but yeah, just an amazing run there by Tyler Reddick at the end, and on older tire. Like that's like getting lost, in all of this, is that he still had older tires than those guys, which obviously, they kind of equalize out after a little bit, but it's still like they weren't extremely, that much, there wasn't an extreme difference, but there was still enough of a difference to make a difference. Another major happening in that race is Kyle Larson, doing Kyle Larson things, getting super aggressive and wrecking himself. Ended up with a 13th place finish and is now 7 points below the cut line heading into Martinsville. That could be another regrettable action by these playoff drivers, like I talked about with Blaney, him not fully blocking Reddick, Larson there. I understand he's not going to not take that chance when he had it, but it is another one of those positions where, maybe Larson got a little bit too aggressive and he's just, the talent I wouldn't say ran out, but definitely didn't work in his favor there.
Yeah, for sure. One other, just kind of thing that I think is interesting, Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, that whole battle right there. We're 2 races left, and Ross fell out of it a little bit. Ross finished 33rd. I thought he was going to have a really good race, and he wasn't that good. Right. And then obviously, had issues at the end and stuff, but he just wasn't good. But Bubba, Chris Buescher 11 points apart for that 17th spot in the point standings. Interesting day for Bubba. He took the lead there on that one restart. I mean, he grabbed it, but then kind of fell back pretty quickly. Ended up finishing 18th. Buescher finished 15th, so he, beat Bubba Wallace in terms of finishing position, but I think Bubba overall had the better car on the day. And Bubba actually closed 6 points on Buescher because of the stage points. And then Noah Gragson, what happened with him? He dominated practice. And then was just garbage in the race. Pure garbage. What happened there?
I feel like and I remember because, you talked extensively about Gragson on the podcast last week. And, heading into the race, everybody's talking about it. I feel like that happens a lot with guys like Gragson. I don't know how to explain it, but he's the reason I liked Ryan Preece for a top 10. One, because Preece has a really good record at Homestead, actually. And then I'm like, if Stuart Haas overall has speed, then it makes sense for Preece to have speed and potentially get a top 10. And then FanDuel had him at 27-1 on race day, and I like that a lot. But yeah, I just feel like it kind of reminds me of, all the times that Kyle Larson would go out, and Blaney does it a lot. It happens with Blaney a lot, where they go out and they look phenomenal in practice, and then they just get to the race and they're mediocre. And I don't understand it. Larson's a little bit different because he does have those races where he goes out and dominates the shit out of everybody. Blaney's another one of those guys that it's like he just outperforms in practice when he doesn't have that great of a car, but he underperforms when he does have a good car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, but like with Noah Gragson, if you look at like the first Vegas race, I mean, he was fast as shit in practice, and then end of the race, he was fast as shit. So, I'm confused why at some tracks he does great when he practices great, and other tracks he doesn't, especially Homestead. I mean, Homestead is his track. He's the Kyle Larson of Homestead in the Xfinity series. And it didn't make any sense. I would bet that 6-1 that we bet, we talked about it on the podcast last week. Bet that all day again, especially after seeing practice and qualifying. Massive closing line value that we got there. It just didn't work out. Would bet that all day. Would bet that 100% over again. I will say, for as much bad luck as I've had this year, I think I just had a bad week. I think I didn't make the greatest bets, and that happens. I made some good ones. I think the Noah Gragson bet was good. I would 100% would bet that again. Really liked, obviously, my Chase Elliott top 5 bet, because he, did have a top 5 and had a top 5 car, or borderline top 5 car. But pretty much everything else, I liked him at the time. Like, I liked Truex going into the weekend. I liked, I forget whoever else
Austin
I bet
Dillon.
top 5. Ross Chastain, Austin Dillon, and all 3 of those bets were just crap ass when you look back at it. I wouldn't say they were bad bets going in, but once you saw the speed of the race cars and things like that, yeah, not a good set of bets from me this weekend.
So I was sick all weekend. Like Friday, I woke up like on my deathbed, and I just randomly put in 2 top 10 bets on Sunday when I saw odds, because I saw that they had Dinger up to plus 650, and I'm like, well, if Hemrick has a little bit of speed in qualifying, Dinger should be fine in the race. So, yeah. And then, like I said, the Priest one, I was just waiting for him to get past on that last lap.
You know what's funny about Ryan Priest? For being, good, I'll put it in air quotes, at Homestead. When I look at Homestead,
everything with Priest is good. You know what I mean?
No, I know, but to my point here, for him being good at Homestead, if you look at Homestead and its comparable tracks, so Darlington, and then the next level of comparable tracks that have strong correlation with Homestead are Dover, Kansas, Vegas, and Charlotte. So those 6 tracks, Priest was 0 for 50 or 52 or something at getting a top 10 in his career at those tracks. So congrats to you for hitting him on his first ever top 10 in 50 plus starts at one of these tracks.
Something about me this year with the shit boxes. I mean, like you remember my Hemrick bet at whatever one, Nashville or whatever. I just, it's been whatever bad luck and the luck that's been taken from you this year has definitely been given and on my side this year, but I'll take it. And like I said, those were just like 2 random ass last second bets that I put in. I barely even watched the race outside of, the end, but, just one of those weekends. Another guy that was very strong during the race though, and actually had people live betting him to win. Fanatics held out there with 100-1 line when I think he was running like 3rd or 4th. Carson Hocevar looked damn good. Ended up finishing 9th, but he looked good all day at Homestead. Really finishing that season strong for Spire Motorsports over there. It's a guy to definitely pay attention to next season. And what they're able to do. Obviously, he has some very questionable character aspects, but as far as a race car driver, man, I know we hate using the word, but the motherfucker's a wheel man, and he's showing it week after week. Yep. But yeah, other than that, I wouldn't say there was too many surprises. I thought it was great that all of these guys that basically needed to win were the ones that were contending for the win. And I think we have the potential, like I said, to get it to get that same thing here this weekend at Martinsville. But moving
especially
on,
especially with it being Reddick who grabbed the win, because he's not the Martinsville guy, right? Like
of all the
people, everyone else, all the other 6 drivers have won at Martinsville. Christopher Bell did last year, right, or 2 years ago, something like that. So, yeah, I believe every other driver has won at Martinsville that's left in the playoffs. Yeah. So that's pretty crazy.
And I want to say, I tweeted it out the other day. I want to say it's like even like recently, like even like over the last like 8 races, all of these guys have won, which is just, you know, nuts to think that these are all potential race winners could to get there. Let me see. Okay. 4 of the 6 drivers not locked into Phoenix, Bell, Byron, Larson, and Blaney have won at Martinsville just in the next gen era. Okay. Yeah. Denny Hamlin has won there 5 times, and Chase Elliott has a win there and has the 4th most laps led among active drivers. So, like, this is just the potential here is, oh man, I am, please Goodyear, don't disappoint us, because we're getting some new tires this weekend for the Martinsville race, and hopefully they have this figured out. I was listening to Denny Hamlin's podcast, where I saw a snippet from it. And he basically said, like, we don't know what to expect, which is going to be a huge curveball this week. And hopefully this isn't like last time where, you know, we didn't know what to expect, but then it was just the same old shit. Because as we saw last time at Martinsville, you know, track position's everything and nothing else matters. So, so we have Tyler Reddick locked in. We have Joey Logano locked in as well. Christopher Bell is 29 points to the good. So it's going to take a catastrophic race for him, I think, to get out. That is a pretty good margin for him. They have to be feeling good. Yep. Then it gets interesting. So we got Byron at 7 to the good in position number 4. Larson is now 7 out after 2 very rough races, both at Las Vegas and Homestead. Hamlin is 18 out, which isn't insurmountable as far as points, but you got to beat 2 guys. You got to beat Byron and Larson for the points. Then we got basically must wins. Ryan Blaney, 38 points behind. Chase Elliott, 43 points behind. Both those guys can win. I don't know what to expect, but holy shit. That's all I have to say about the playoffs this year and the potential. Because we have this is what shit on this playoff format, all you want. This is what we fucking want right here. The potential for this. Because this is going to be, if this just potentially lives up to the hype, this race on Sunday is going to be amazing.
Yes, it will. It is going to be unbelievable. If you're Hendrick Motorsports, right? Like, Larson and Byron are battling each other for the bubble on points. And then both could be out if Elliott, Blaney, Hamlin win. I mean, Hendrick Motorsports has gone from having 4 cars in the round of 8 to Bowman got DQ'd out of it to maybe having 0 cars in the championship 4 after all of this is said and done.
Mm-hmm. Which is just, excuse me, absolutely nuts. And you go back, and I don't want to go back and flash back to the first Martinsville race because we're on the different tires, but if we go back to the first Martinsville race, Kyle Larson sat on the pole, led 86 laps, finished second. Joey Logano led the second most laps at 84. Hamlin led the third most at 66, or fourth most, 66. Chase Elliott led 64 laps. And then William Byron won the race, leading 88 laps, even though he started way back in 18th. But here is the interesting thing. Despite Byron starting 18th, leading the most laps, winning the race, Kyle Larson still beat him in that race by 7 points, which is the point differential here this weekend. This, oh man. But back to my point. Byron, Larson, Hamlin, Elliott all led over 60 laps in the first Martinsville race this weekend. And they're all fighting potential, or probably for the last position in the playoffs.
That's crazy.
I don't think you could script this better. I really don't. All of this made possible by Joey Logano stretching his fuel at Las Vegas.
And then obviously stretching his fuel at Nashville.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Bowman disqualification. I mean, the sequence of events it's taken to get to where we are is actually mind-boggling when you think about it. Like, I did this segment when I first started at Action Network called "What Are the Odds?" And like, what are the odds of this sequence of events happening to get to where we are? Is it's crazy. It's unreal.
Mm-hmm. And I let me pull this up quick because I'm pretty sure I saved it. So before the playoffs started, I went through and I looked at all the odds for all the drivers, yes, no, to make the Final Four. And I'm pretty sure, like right now, I got a tweet from somebody, and I haven't seen any odds anywhere, but he asked if Larson even money would be a good bet to make the Final Four. But heading into, let me see. This was when there was still 12 drivers left. So I forget the exact date that I pulled these, but it had to be the start around of 12, right? Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. So Joey Logano was plus 240 to make the championship four. Reddick was plus 110. The best on Larson was minus 220, and he was plus 170. No. Chase Elliott was minus 185. No. Plus 155. Yes. And then Byron was basically even both sides, minus 120. Yes. Minus 110. No. So just something interesting there. You know, like you said, what are the odds? You know, Larson was as much as minus 240 up at Caesars to make the Final Four. And right now he's on the outside looking in.
Yep.
And basically, you know, flip-flop that for Logano.
Yeah. Weird season. Fun season. Fun. It's been a fun season. There's been a lot of drama. There's been a lot of crappy NASCAR calls, but also a lot of good NASCAR calls. A lot of drama. Honestly, it's been a fun season, and how can you not like this format? I don't understand the people that dislike this format. I will never understand why you want a 36-race season of just points, and if that happened, it would be like absolutely boring. It would be boring. Let me pull up the non-playoff standings because I feel like this is something that we always want to look at just to kind of be like, okay, here's what it would be. So after Homestead, it would be good. It would be good, but it's not always good. Remember a week ago, I was like, damn, this is only 2 cars really. Well, Larson had back-to-back terrible days, but that's the other thing. We don't know how it would play out with a different format. But Larson would be 6 points ahead of Bell. Elliott would be 24 back of Larson. Reddick 32 back of Larson. Byron 47 back of Larson. Hamlin's 107 back, so he'd be out with 2 races left. So it really would be a 5-car battle. So certainly anything could happen between those 5 cars. Things would play out differently, but I'm not going to lie. I mean, that would be super exciting. It would be. But there are years it would be craptastic. Here, we're guaranteed drama. We are guaranteed excitement, drama, and, you know, maybe it's not the fairest way to crown a winner, but you still got to perform in the playoffs. We have yet to have a champion where the driver didn't absolutely kick some fucking ass in the playoffs, right? Maybe this year we get that with Logano, but outside of that, even the year Newman finished second, the very first year of the championship 4, he was good in the playoffs, like good. And he was good all season, really. I think he had a top 5, like, full season-long points result, something like that. So we haven't had an undeserving champion in terms of playoff performance. I know people will point to the Kyle Busch one where he missed half the season, but once he came back, Kyle Busch kicked everybody's ass. I don't have a problem with that.
I agree. And I think I made the point after the Vegas race. I said, I'm not going to have an issue with this format unless Joey Logano wins a championship. And I understand like the what ifs, and people like to focus on that. But the fact of the matter is, we're probably going to have Christopher Bell in the Final Four. He's been the second best driver this year in terms of average finish. He has 3 wins. Tyler Reddick, tied for second best driver when it comes to average finish this year. He's going to be in the Final Four. He has 3 wins. And then we're likely going to either get Byron or Larson, who between them have 9 wins and are ranked right behind Bell and Reddick as far as average finish. The only driver with a better average finish than all of these guys is Chase Elliott, and he only has 1 win. So my point being, our Final Four is going to be 3 very, very, very deserving drivers and Joey Logano.
Yeah.
I understand the point people are making with Joey Logano. And like I said, I'll be the first one to bitch if he wins the championship. But the amount of talent that is going to actually make the Final Four, I agree. It outstamps anything negative about this format. And this isn't, a lot of people, a lot of other podcasts, a lot of other media members, they like to ride the coattails. They like to get on their knees for NASCAR and praise them. And obviously that's not our MO whatsoever, and this isn't that at all either. This format crowns deserving champions, and I don't think you could take that away. So yep. I fully believe that we will get a deserving champion this year. I don't think Joey Logano is going to win, even though, speaking of Logano, there's sportsbooks out here that have him the favorite.
Crazy.
The odds on favorite.
Crazy.
Bell
should be the favorite. 100% Bell should be the favorite. I mean, it's not close, like, in terms of who should be the favorite. The only way Bell doesn't make the Final Four is if we get either a new winner and he falls below one of Byron or Larson, or he falls on points below both Byron and Larson. Or one of those guys
on lap 4.
Yeah, exactly. But the odds he makes the final are 80-85%, I would guess.
Yeah.
And then he should be the favorite to win Phoenix of all the potential drivers.
Yeah. One interesting thing this week, and this situation, which we've seen it throughout the years happen time after time, as this opens up some really long odds on some of these drivers to win the championship. So I'm curious to know, I see a lot of people betting, I know some people got Blaney at 50-1, Hamlin's sitting out there, I think at 30-1, maybe 25. I did bet Larson 9-1 earlier this week, just because I was like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. He can win Martinsville, and if he makes it to Phoenix, I feel good at having Larson and Bell tickets, because like obviously I've been heavily invested in Bell all year. I've been betting him championship since the first Phoenix race. But do you have any interest in some of these longer shot odds for these championship drivers?
You said you bet Larson 9-1 earlier this week. Is that what you said?
Yeah, he opened 9-1 at Bet Rivers.
That's crazy. That's a great bet. I love that. Honestly, I love that. That's super. As far as the longer shot drivers, Blaney would be the one that comes to mind, given Martinsville and Phoenix. I don't hate. Right now I'm looking at Bet365 just because I have it open. 25-1. I don't hate that. It would take a double win, right? So I don't love it. Well, I should say it would take a win at Martinsville and then a top of the 4 drivers at Phoenix. He doesn't technically have to win, right? But I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I mean, 25-1's asking a lot. You're essentially parlaying 2 wins, and I don't think I can get there at 25. But I don't hate it. If there's odds better than 25-1, maybe I could get on board. But like, let's pretend Ryan Blaney is 10% to win Martinsville. Let's just say he's 10% to win Martinsville. And then let's say he's 25% to win of the 4 at Phoenix, right? So we need 0.1 times 0.25 is his probability of winning the championship. 0.1 times 0.25. And so we go that you need 39 to 1 to be fair odds on Blaney. So 25 isn't there yet. You know what I'm saying? If you get a 40 to 1 on Blaney, maybe I can get there. You know, especially if he's better than 25% at Phoenix and better than 10% at Martinsville. Maybe you can get like 35, 30 to 1. I could get there. I haven't run any numbers yet this week for anything. But yeah, just shooting from the hip here. You know, I think I could get there 30, 35 potentially. It would just depend on what my models end up saying.
He is sitting at 30 at FanDuel. I'll note that.
Yeah.
So something to look at there.
For sure.
And I believe, I think I saw a tweet that it was either him or Chase Elliott opened at 50 to 1. But yeah, I just don't know. Like, obviously I like the Larson thing, and part of it is because I have the Bell tickets as well. Where would Bell have to be for you to like him, as far as championship odds, to be worth betting? Because right now I feel like most books, everyone I've seen have basically him, Reddick, and Logano all priced the exact same at that 3 to 1 to 350 range.
Let's say he's 80% to make the championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's better than 25% to win at Phoenix, right? Assuming he makes it. So let's say 30, 33%. Let's say 30% to be conservative. Plus 315 is fair then.
Okay. Yeah, so the plus 340 at FanDuel caught my eye.
Kind of like that.
I said,
yeah, I like that. I like that.
I
like that.
I mean,
I like that.
Yeah, right.
I like that a lot, actually. Yeah. Because I'm trying to be conservative with my estimates. The 80% to make it. I think he's probably better than 80% to make it. 30% to win Phoenix of the 4, especially with Logano in there. I think he's better than 30%. Yeah, I think we have to bet. I think we have to bet Bell to win the championship plus 340.
I agree. Especially if I'm with you there. I'm kind of searching around here on some of these other, like ESPN and Hard Rock. They always sometimes have a little bit better lines as well. But FanDuel's been crushing it lately, as far as some of the more outrights.
Yeah, I think you have to bet plus 340. I will be absolutely tracking this in the Action Network app once we're done with this podcast and betting it. I just can't track it now because it's too much, but too much going on with the trying to record a podcast and look up information and all, make my bet and all that stuff. But yeah,
do you have any Bell tickets currently?
I don't, and I need a Bell ticket. Maybe I do. I can't remember if I bet anything mid-season. I'll have to look it up. I don't have the ability to look it up right now, but I'll look it up after the show for sure. But I don't believe I do. I know I have Logano. I know I have Logano tickets. I don't have, I think, anybody else other than Logano and Ross from individual drivers, and I have JGR to win. Well, okay, I have Bell through JGR to win, technically.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Forgot about that. And I have Toyota to win the championship.
That's solid.
Yeah. Stevie and I bet that preseason Toyota to win and JGR to win.
Caesars has Reddick as the favorite, plus 275, Logano at plus 300, and then Bell at plus 325.
Reddick makes sense because he's locked in, right? So he's 100% to be there, and he's good at Phoenix. So it makes sense that he's the favorite there. I agree with that. But yeah, I said Bell should be the favorite. I kind of just forgot about the fact that Reddick's locked in. It's just total brain fart. But yeah, I guess Reddick should technically be the favorite. Yes, Logano should not be. That's silly. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then BetMGM has Bell the favorite at plus 260, which I think that is accurate.
Yeah,
that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, like I said, plus 315 is my conservative estimate on Bell, just from shooting from the hip here. I think plus 275, 280 might be closer to fair. Plus 260 or whatever you said. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. When you add in, the books take some juice and stuff. So plus 340, I love it. At FanDuel, I love that.
Anything else on championship standings here?
Yeah, like you said, those long shots like Blaney 30, maybe not quite there unless I run some models. When I run some models, but Bell plus 340 is a very, very good bet.
Find me a book that will let me parlay championship win with this week's race win, and I will.
Have you tried? Have you looked at?
I just assume none of them are going to let you.
Well, never know. Never know. What would you parlay?
Give me like a Chase Elliott win with a Chase Elliott championship,
win, and then Cup Futures, Chase Elliott championship. Yeah, I can't parlay it like DK or anything.
Yeah,
I was thinking of all places that might do that, it might be DraftKings. Potentially Caesars or BetMGM. I doubt
Caesars won't let you. I just tried.
Doubt FanDuel. FanDuel doesn't even have odds up for the race.
I know. Yep.
All right, let me try Larson with championship Larson. No, can't. Yeah. I didn't think so, but good looking out, worth a shot.
Yeah, that's those things that you always have to just pay attention to, and if you see it, take advantage. Where else was I going to look? But looking at the rest of the playoff standings, like you said, Buescher and Bubba Wallace within 11 points for that 17th spot. I'll tell you what, that's one driver I really like this weekend. I already have a bet on him, is Bubba Wallace this weekend at Martinsville. I think he's going to be really strong this weekend. And then, let's see here. Eric Jones moved up 2 spots ahead of Corey LaJoie and Daniel Hemrick. I think John Hunter Nemechek's got the last place points position locked up this year. Zane Smith up to 29th. And I don't think Hocevar has enough time to catch Kyle Busch, but like I said, still a very solid season for Hocevar. I think this will be the week that he'll be able to wrap up and lock up Rookie of the Year honors, which, I think clearly well deserved. Very, very strong rookie season for him in that 77.
Yeah, he definitely deserves it. We've said it all the time. Incredibly talented driver. Just needs to stop doing dumb things. Speaking of dumb things, Connor Jones suspended for a race in the Truck Series for being an absolute piece of shit.
I didn't see what happened.
He had a on track spat with Matt Mills and decided to intentionally wreck him at a high speed oval. Matt Mills wrecked, caught fire, suffered some burns. I think he inhaled some smoke, that kind of stuff. But Connor Jones, he sucks. He's he's a horrible NASCAR driver. Horrible in the truck series. He's not good. If you look, like, he races for ThorSport, right? Which is one of the better truck teams. And I'm just trying to pull up the truck standings here. But he's not good. He raced for ThorSport. Connor Jones has 0 top 10s racing for a good team, right? I mean, same team that Ben Rhodes drives for, same team that Ty Majeski, Matt Crafton, they all drive for. And then Connor Jones just can't do shit. Luke Fenhaus has run that same 66 truck and has 2 very good finishes in that 66 truck. Let me pull up the finishes. But Fenhaus, yeah, he has a 10th, a 7th, and a 22nd. In that same truck that Connor Jones has a best finish of 11th over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 races, right? So, like, Connor Jones is just not a good driver. And then he goes and intentionally wrecks somebody and puts them in the hospital. He doesn't deserve to be in NASCAR at all. Which, you know, I definitely with Carson Hocevar, at least he's talented. Even though he does dumb shit, at least he's talented.
Yeah, I like I said, I wasn't able to, or I never saw it. How bad was the wrecking? Obviously, you know,
it kind of looks like the Hemrick Austin Dillon incident from Vegas. Okay. You know, where Hemrick just rear ends Austin Dillon. And honestly, you know, you could argue Daniel Hemrick deserves to be suspended, but there wasn't anything over the radio that was like, I intentionally wrecked him or whatever. Whereas Connor Jones clearly admitted it was intentional over the radio based off the way, you know, the verbiage and stuff. So it was like that, but even worse, you know? And yeah, I mean, he just put Matt Mills, just slammed him from behind on purpose. Matt Mills has nothing he can do. He crashes into the wall and the truck catches fire.
Yeah, that's and then did I see something like Connor didn't even have any remorse basically afterwards, or tried to play the victim, or
I don't know if he tried to play the victim. I didn't see all the interviews and stuff, but it was pretty clear he didn't have any remorse. And then he only apologized after it was announced Matt Mills went to the hospital and stuff.
Yeah, that's just
with an AI generated apology.
Yeah, I saw that. That was like 100%. This is AI generated.
Yep.
God. Yeah. Well, hopefully he has the days in the future that he deserves. And
he doesn't deserve to be in a truck ride. I'll just say that. That's all I'll say about that. But money talks, of course, but he doesn't deserve to be in a truck ride.
Yeah. But yeah, we're on to Martinsville now. Kyle Larson once again the favorite, as has been the case for what seems like the last 3 months. Denny Hamlin's right up there as well, though. Both of them are plus 450. Got Ryan Blaney sitting at 6-1, William Byron sitting at 8-1, Chase Elliott at plus 850. Then we get up to Bell at 12-1, Logano 18-1. Truex you can get him at 18-1, and then Briscoe 22-1. You agree with these odds?
I was definitely surprised I'm surprised Bell's 12-1.
That's the same.
I guess there's something to be said for him being a little conservative just to ensure he makes his way in, but I mean, I think Bell should be I think Bell should be in the single digits. I bet him immediately at 16-1 when he opened at Westgate.
Oh, I didn't realize he opened at 16-1.
Yeah, at Westgate in Nevada. He didn't open 16, I think, elsewhere, but yeah, I dropped it in. I mean, my birthday was on Monday, and so I dropped it in the Action Network Discord that he opened 16-1 at Westgate. I immediately bet that. I probably won't be around the rest of the day, but if you see anything like, close to that price or whatever, I would definitely bet that. So I still like 12-1. Other than that, honestly, I think the odds are okay. I guess people could be a little surprised at Briscoe at 22, but he's good here.
He's really good here.
Yeah.
Top 10s in every single next generation.
So, yeah, I mean, I think these odds are, aside from Bell, pretty good overall. There's always will Alex Bowman do well? Will Josh Berry do well? Those two drivers in that 30s range. Bowman's won here before, and Josh Berry, this is one of his best tracks, especially if you add in new tire combo here, could be beneficial to him. So yeah, I think overall the odds are pretty good. Do you agree?
I'm with you on Bell. I still like it at 12-1.
Yep.
I don't bet outrights that much, but I still like it. I thought Byron might be a little bit shorter just because he's won, I think, like 2 of the last 4 here or something, defending winner here from the spring. But overall, yeah, I think these odds are where they should be. But with that being said, I do think that there's some other value odds out there that I really like. I alluded to it before. Bubba Wallace, I love plus 150 for a top 10. Bubba Wallace. I'm waiting to see if like a Fanatics or a Hard Rock drops him a little bit longer to pounce on it more. But Bubba, looking at Richmond, top 5 car, looking at North Wilkesboro, top 5 car, last 4 races at Martinsville, top 11. Yeah, give me plus 150 on Bubba Wallace, top 10 all day. I love this bet. I haven't liked this bet. I'll bet this much in the last few weeks. I really like that. And then Joey Logano's sitting there, minus 125 for a top 10 finish. I've done this before at Martinsville. I did it was Ryan Blaney, however many years ago. But I really like Joey Logano, minus 125 for a top 10. He's just so good here. And I understand there's a chance that they could be out to lunch. There's a chance that they could not care. But we've seen him in this position before where he's been locked into the championship 4 and he's performed just like we expected him to. So I think getting him at minus 125 is another one of those bets that I've already bet both of them. I like them both a ton. And I'm curious to see if you want to talk me off that ledge. Not that I'm going to cancel my bets, but
I'm not going to argue with you on Bubba Wallace. I mean, 4, 11, 9, 8 in his last 4 Martinsville races. You get him plus money for a guy who is 3 for 4 in top 10 finishes in his last 4 races. Significant plus money, I'll say, plus 150. That he only needs to be 40% to break even on that. So I'm not going to talk you off there. Logano worries me a little bit, like you said, just because of the potential not carrying letdown spot. But it is where he was saying, Homestead, there's nothing I can do to learn about Phoenix. There could be something here, right? Like there could be. And you mentioned it, 2022, won Las Vegas, still performed well at Martinsville, finished 6th. 2020, Kansas won that. Still performed well at Martinsville, finished 3rd. 20, what was it? No, yeah, it's just those two. I was going to say 2018, but that was Martinsville that he won. So, but yeah, in 2022 and 2020, he won the first round or the first race of the round of 8. Went to Martinsville in top 10, both of those. So I'm fine with it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm fine with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to talk you off the ledge on that. I think it's fine.
Man, I found it last night. Caesars took it off the board. They had Kyle Busch over under finishing position at 22.5.
Damn.
And it's off the board now. But that one definitely stuck out to me. And I forgot to go back and fully look at that. But
It's pretty crazy.
yeah, it was one of those where I'm like, that looks really wrong. And then you look at like his next gen results and they're not that great, but he's so good here. And RCR like is a kind of a different team the second half of the year. So yeah, that's not, like I said, it's not on there anymore, but they got like Ty Gibbs at over under 17.5, which, you know, off the cuff looks high, but that's basically where he's
finished
been
19th or 18th in every single Martinsville race he's run in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
But of course, in the Xfinity Series, he dominated his last two Martinsville races. Won one of those two. The other, he finished 8th, but led the most laps. So we know he's good here. It's just it hasn't quite translated to the Cup Series in terms of finishing position.
Right. And that could be one of those positions that, you know, you buy low on him because, you know, with Ty Gibbs.
I think this is a good buy low spot. Look at this race last year. Finished 7th in stage 1, 6th in stage 2, but then finished 18th.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good point. I wonder what happened. Pull up iFantasy Race here real quick. But like I said, obviously while I'm doing that, the biggest story this weekend, in addition to these playoff drivers, is going to be the tires. So what Goodyear is bringing this weekend is the on the right side. Let me see here. The right side is the same tire that was ran as the option tire at both North Wilkesboro and the second Richmond race.
Yep.
And then the left side is going to be basically a softer tire of a compound change to what the left side tire was the first time around. So it's going to be a softer tire. Obviously, we're not going to know. We don't know what to expect. We're going to get a full all-field practice session, 45 minutes on Saturday afternoon. So we're going to get some good data there. But do we, and like I said, obviously we don't really know right now, but in your gut, are you thinking that that Richmond and North Wilkesboro might be, more comparable tracks than normal this weekend just because of the same tires?
Maybe. I don't know.
Richmond is just so high wear that it's hard
I don't think it's going to be the best example. But and North Wilkesboro is too low tire wear, so it'll be potentially somewhere between those.
So, okay, I got iFantasy Race pulled up. Last fall, Ty Gibbs was a top 5 contender, but finished asterisk mark 18th. In the race, he started second, finished 7th in stage 1, finished 6th in stage 2. While running in third, Logano spun him. And then later, lap 304, Hocevar got into the back and spun him again. Man, I think this is the week to hit Gibbs under 17.5.
When I went to those over under finishing positions, that was the first one I saw because I know you said Kyle Busch was off the board, so I went over there, looked, and Gibbs was the one that caught my eye, just off the cuff, right?
Yeah,
might be the buy low spot. Might be the buy low spot.
And if you're comparing it to North Wilkesboro, he led all 100 laps in the first race, or in the play-in race or whatever. Huh. Yeah, I can get behind that for sure.
I like it.
One guy that's always been really good at Martinsville, still searching for his first win of the year. You think Truex has any chance of upsetting this playoff field, or I guess, how likely would you consider of the 8 remaining playoff drivers to not win this race?
Truex specifically, I can't get a read on that motherfucker. Like, I liked him at Vegas,
I think
he was really good, and then I liked him at Homestead, and he was mid, right? Like, I don't know. He's supposed to be good here, but I just don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But and then as far as just like non-playoff drivers, Kez is good here, right? Briscoe, obviously Truex and Bowman, Rowdy, but hasn't quite been the same in the next gen / RCR. I don't know. I don't think it's out of the question, but we just talked about how those other 6 drivers that are not locked in are fucking good here, right? Like,
yeah,
very, very good. And then, I mean, Logano's good here too. So it seems very likely a playoff driver wins it, but I could definitely see one of like Kez or Truex or Bowman winning this. I think would be the most likely candidates. Barry, Josh Barry, can't forget about him.
And especially if tire wear comes into play, and even like super long shot dark horse Todd Gilliland has looked really good here.
Yep.
He also,
I don't think he's a win contender, but yeah, he's good here.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a top 10 contender. I haven't seen any long odds on him to get me excited to take it. I think he's like plus 450 everywhere. Let me see here. Gillen plus 420. Yeah. See, I'm not betting him plus 425 for a top 10. That's just not interested.
Yeah.
You know who kind of, I could be wrong here. Cindric plus 650 for a top 10. Can never count out those the Penske boys.
No, definitely not.
I'm still Bubba Wallace top 10. That's my bet of the week. I'm sticking with it. Hell, just a.
You know who could be a surprise top 10?
Who? Noah Gragson, because he disappointed the shit out of us last week.
Nope. Absolutely nope. This is off the wall, dude.
SVG?
Yep.
Because of the road course.
Marcus Ambrose, Juan Montoya, AJ Allmendinger. Those guys were bitchin' ass good at Martinsville.
SVG 20 to 1.
Yeah, at BetMGM.
Oh, I hate see. This is where it's tough because I want to see what he looks like in practice. But if he looks even halfway decent, that 20 to 1 is going to go to 2 to 1. I didn't even. I always forget about the road course background thing with Martinsville.
I'm looking up something right now on SVG. 200 to 1 top Chevy. I don't know. I don't think that's worth it, but
I can't get behind that. I can do a 20 to 1 top 10 though. I can get behind that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that's worth it, but yeah, I like 20 to 1 top 10 as a funsy bet, right? I don't know if it'll be profitable. I have no idea.
What's interesting is everywhere else has him like 5 to 1.
Yeah.
And then you got BetMGM coming out left field with 20. I mean, like Bet365 doesn't have any drivers at 20 to 1, including Josh Bilicki, who's going to be in that 66 car that's going to be 8 miles an hour slower than everybody else.
Telling you, might be worth a flyer.
Yeah, I'm probably going to end up putting, throw $10 on it, have some fun.
Wild. Wild. I can't believe I'm considering that.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Tell me what.
You know another top 10 bet I don't hate? I hate when I like multiple top 10 bets, but Alex Bowman plus 200.
Yep. I love
Hendrick
that.
was so good here in the spring. Just overall, Hendrick's
been good here in the next gen era. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that
Bowman
frozen next gen race? Like the one that was cold as shit. It was like Martinsville 1 of 2022, I think it was. And it was just like Elliott and Byron just dominated the whole race, 1-2.
Yep.
And you couldn't pass them.
Yeah, then Elliott. Yeah, then Gustafson decided to pit Elliott on that.
Yeah. I like Bowman plus 200 to bet 365.
I just hate having both. I mean, obviously, if you hit one of them, you're fine. But Bowman and Bubba.
There's nothing wrong with that. You hit one of them, you make money. I like Bowman and Bubba, and then SVG. Like those might be my running hot picks tomorrow.
I definitely Yeah, Bubba is just. I like it even more than Bowman. Like Bowman to me is like fringe top 10. I think Bubba's a solid top 10 heading into the race weekend.
I mean, Bowman's won at Martinsville.
Yeah, but he led 9 laps in that race.
But he had clearly the best car from mid race to the end. The only reason he didn't is because he started so far back.
And that's his thing, though. He never qualifies well here.
He had to come
Bubba
from the
always
field.
does.
And Bowman was class of the field in that Martinsville race that he won. He didn't even need to wreck Denny. He did, but he didn't need to. Yeah. I love Bowman here. I love Bowman here. Since 2020, sixth DNF win. 12th, 11th, DNF 8th. Right, so his worst is 12th outside of the DNFs. That's the same thing as Bubba, right? Like his worst is 11th, 12th.
That 48 cars also had stupid good speed this entire playoffs.
Yep. I think I like the Bowman bet more than the Bubba bet almost.
I don't. I still.
At 2-1 instead of plus 150, yeah, I think I like it more. They're to me they're pretty equal. Again, I haven't run a model, but shooting from the hip here, I think I like the Bowman bet more. I'm not saying I don't like your Bubba bet. I do. I'm just saying I think I like it even more.
I understand it. I understand why. Especially the difference of I'm going to end up on both of them. I know I am. And I'm not going to be mad about it.
And we know Bowman's good with high tire wear.
That's true. Yep. You just sold it for me. I'm betting it. Yep, locking that in right now. Like I said, I just hope that this tire is as good as they say it is.
Yeah. I hope so.
All right. You got anything else for Martinsville?
I'll say one more thing about Bowman is like, all he needs to be is near top 10 speed to be a good bet at 2-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that extra variance can get you inside the top 10 there, right? So you just need to be top 12, 13 in speed. And he's finished top 12 in literally every Martinsville race since 2020 that he hasn't DNF'd.
Valid. Yeah, I'm locking it in literally right now.
But yeah, other than that, I don't have anything else for Martinsville.
In. All right. On to picks to win in 36 for 36. Picks to win, I had Larson last week. Put that jinx on him. Finished 13th. And you had Bell, who finished 4th. It's your turn to go first with the second to last race of the season. Who do you think takes home this Xfinity 500 and probably locks himself into the championship 4?
Oh, man, this one's crazy. This one's crazy. There's 6 drivers, right? 6 playoff drivers. Chase Elliott. I don't like it. Chase Elliott. That's my pick.
Rooting for mass chaos. I'm with you.
I don't know if I've picked Chase Elliott all year in picks to win.
You have not. Nope, you have not. First time picking Chase Elliott. Does that mean I have to pick someone that I haven't picked all year?
No. Doesn't mean that, but it'd be fun. Pick SVG. No.
Oh damn! I was about to go with someone that I hadn't picked all year, but I picked him at Atlanta too, and I'm surprised that's the only time I picked him is Ryan Blaney. Oh shit. I'm gonna. All right. You know me. I'm rooting for chaos. I'm rooting for excitement. This is gonna be dumb. I'm gonna be so mad if I just jinxed him. I'm gonna go Christopher Bell. Is gonna come out and he's gonna win this to not get in on points, and he's gonna go back to back to win Martinsville and the championship and Phoenix. Christopher Bell, the guy that's on record pace for these playoffs as far as finish goes. Christopher Bell is my pick to win.
I like it.
Speaking of liking it, you probably don't like the results from 36 for 36 last week.
Nope, sure don't.
It is now going to take, I think, a pretty catastrophic fail for me not to wrap this thing up. But damn, you made it close. I'll give you that. I was worried this last month.
You know what's funny? I was so worried about stressing over Kyle Larson, Noah Gragson for Vegas Homestead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Noah Gragson at Homestead got 19, at Vegas got 18. So pretty much a wash. Kyle Larson at Homestead got 24, at Vegas got 24. So, or 27, whatever. 27 and 24. So a wash, basically. So it didn't really matter of those two which I picked where, right? They washed themselves by being both equally terrible at both tracks for their own standards.
Yep. I still can't believe Gregson was that bad.
Yeah.
I thought for sure, I'm like,
I need you to have Byron Rick out on lap 1 and Josh Berry to go win the thing to make it close, or get a large chunk of points to make it close.
It's not out of this world. I only have a 50-point lead, so it's
like if Christopher Bell had a 50-point lead and we were doing the old point standings with a couple races to go, right? Like,
yeah,
very unlikely he blows it, but
there's a chance.
There's a non-zero chance.
Yep. But you have Josh Berry this weekend for Martinsville too. I got William Byron, the defending Martinsville winner. Please don't disappoint me, Willie B. Give me some stage points. Give me a good finish.
Yeah, you're minus 5,000 now.
You are now. Is this like Briscoe where you'd bet it?
No. Man, I was thinking about that earlier too. Like, if I just bet Briscoe 100-1 at Darlington, just to hedge, would have been fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, all day, every day, I will bet that minus 1,000 on Briscoe to not make the playoffs again. It was a good bet. It just didn't work out because he ended up having an amazing car at Darlington, and not only having an amazing car, but then beating Larson on a late restart and winning, right? So it still took that sequence of events for him to get there. But yeah, I would bet it again.
Yeah. And you know, like we've talked about different betting philosophies before, you're not a hedger. So no. I definitely would have hedged, but that's just that's how I bet. You know, I'm a lot more conservative than you. So to each their own. We both have our ways and have been successful doing it. So got to continue doing what you do. Can't fault you for that. But go out there, bet SVG top 10, Bowman top 10, Bubba top 10. And let's see a hell of a finish here at Martinsville before we get to the final race of the year. I can't believe I'm saying that. The season has flown by.
It really has.
Really has. All right. Good luck, everybody, this weekend. Enjoy the race. And we'll be back next week to talk championship. Championship race.
Hell yeah.
Shit. Can't believe it. All right. See you, everybody.